All right, tonight what we're going to be talking about is the mole. And if anybody asks anybody who has taken chemistry what one term defines chemistry, they would say the mole. Well, before we even discuss the mole, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about different words that we use that represent a specific number. So for example, if you ever heard one pair of shoes, the word pair means two. So if I said one pair of shoes, I am referencing the number 2. So all the word pair means is 2. A dozen strawberries, the word dozen means 12. A ream of paper, a ream means 500. A moment of time. If anybody's ever said a moment of time, everybody thinks a few seconds, if that. And what it actually means is that it's 90 seconds or 1.5 minutes. It was used during the medieval era. And so it's kind of changed over the years how we use it as a connotation, but it still is to this day defined as 90 seconds. So there you go. In addition, people have heard of the wonderful speech by Abraham Lincoln about 7 years ago. Well, what the heck is a score? Well, score means 20. So when Abraham Lincoln is referencing 7 years ago, he is actually saying 4 score, so 4 20s and 7. So he is saying 87 years ago. So what I want you to take out of all these is that we in the English language have words that actually represent a specific set of numbers. In chemistry, what word that we have that represents a specific set of numbers is a mole. Okay, and when I say what a mole is, all a mole is a special amount of atoms or a special number. It's just a number. That's it. All right, so what is it? Well, it represents the amount of a substance. I know it seems pretty lame, but we actually do abbreviate mole, and all we do is MOL. So we take off that E. We use mole so often that it actually does save you quite a bit of time by crossing off that E and not using it for the abbreviation. So what is a mole? Just like a dozen represents 12, well, a mole is known as also Avogadro's number. And Avogadro's number is equal to a mole. So if I say Avogadro's number, I am representing a mole. If I say a mole, I am representing Avogadro's number. So what is Avogadro's number? It is 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd. A lot of times, if you've ever seen any former students or if you've ever heard about Mole Day, we do celebrate Mole Day, which is October 23rd. Why is it October 23rd? Because a mole, or October, is the 10th month and the 23rd. So it's 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd. So that's why we celebrate Mole Day on October 23rd. All a mole, once again, represents is the number 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd. And what chemists have determined is that this specific number of molecules, atoms, or ions represent a specific number of characteristics such as a volume, an amount of 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd particles, or an amount of mass too. So whenever I say a mole, once again, it equals 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd. You do need to have this number memorized. One way that students remember that Avogadro's number is equal to a mole is they kind of put it into terms that they know, and they think of avocado is used for guacamole. So instead of Avogadro is mole, their avocado is guacamole. All right, so that's just maybe one way you can remember that Avogadro's is dealing with the mole. All right, so if I told you a mole of bananas, just like if I said a dozen bagels or a dozen shoes or whatever, those always represent 12. A mole of bananas always equals 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd. So a mole of bananas would be this many bananas. A mole of carbon atoms would be 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd carbon atoms. A mole of CO2 molecules would represent 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd molecules of CO2. So one of the characteristics that's so special about a mole is if I counted 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd atoms, what it does is it actually equals what we call the molar mass, or the mass of 1 mole of that substance. When you look at the periodic table, the mass number, which nobody really ever asks about, is equal to the mass of 1 mole, okay, of that specific atom or element. Okay, or that element, not atom, sorry. So the unit for this is G per mole, or grams per mole, or so for every 1 mole, how many grams do you have? So if you look at your periodic table, what do you notice? Well, for this one, if I was looking at a periodic table, I'm referencing carbon right now, and that would be my mass number. And what does that mass number represent? Well, if I counted out 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd individual particles of carbon, or individual atoms of carbon, and put them on a balance, I would mass out exactly 12.0115 grams of that substance. Okay, so for every 1 mole of carbon, I would mass out 12.01 grams of carbon. So when we look at the masses of the different elements, what we notice is that even though they all have the same number of atoms, for a molar mass, which is the 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd, they all have different masses. All right, so how do you calculate the molar mass? Well, it's really, really easy. What you do is you take out your periodic table and you find the mass of each individual element. If there's only one element, that's the only one you have to reference. If it's part of a compound, you're going to need to look up each individual element's mass. Then, if there are any subscripts next to that particular element, you're going to have to multiply the individual mass by that subscript number. And then you're going to have to add all the masses of the individual elements together. So anytime you're dealing with an individual element, such as carbon, it's really easy. All you need to do is look at the periodic table and see what its mass is, and that would be the mass of 1 mole. So if I asked, hey, what's the molar mass of carbon? All you would do would be look on the periodic table. It says 12.01, so you would just write 12.01 grams for every 1 mole. So once again, if I had anybody who was willing to count out 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd atoms, I know that I would only have to mass out 12.01 grams of carbon. Okay, now when you get to things like water molecules, all you have to do is take those step by steps. If I have a mole of water, I know that in that mole of water I have 2 moles of hydrogen and 1 mole of oxygen. Okay, so how do I figure out the molar mass of H2O? So I have H2O. So in H2O, I know I have 2 moles of hydrogen and I have 1 mole of oxygen. So all I need to do is figure out I have the number of hydrogens, which is 2. I'm going to multiply it by the mass of 1 individual mole of hydrogen, which if you look at the periodic table, it says 1.0. We are always going to round to the nearest tenth for molar masses. So we are going to do it 1.0, so I've got 2 times 1.0. So overall, hydrogen is going to be contributing 2 grams for every 1 mole of oxygen. Okay, I'm sorry, 1 mole of water. Then I know I have 1 mole of oxygen, okay, because there's only 1 of oxygens in the H2O formula, and each oxygen has a molar mass of 16.0. So now I know, added these up, I'm going to get 18 grams. So if I calculated out, or if I measured out 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd individual molecules of water, and I put them all on a balance, I would have a molar mass, or I would have a mass that would read on that balance 18 grams. And actually it should be with sig figs 18.0. Sorry about that. It should be 18.0 with sig figs. Remember, always round to the nearest tenth for this class with molar masses. All right, hopefully you kind of have an understanding of the mole and basic ways to calculate the molar mass. Have a good evening.